name is Abby Kurtz, and I have been sponsoring children through Horizon International since 2012 when I took my first Go Team trip to Zambia. Shortly after I signed up for that team, my husband and I started sponsoring a young man named Samson. And in the years that would follow, I would get to see Samson in his home multiple times, which has brought both myself, my husband, and Samson an incredible joy. I'd like to share with you about our own organic growth experience with our son Samson and his brother Richard. It was on one of our return visits when I was visiting with Samson in his home, and as we were enjoying our time together, I couldn't help but notice that there was a young man sitting off to the side, looking sad, dejected, really just hopeless. And I wasn't aware at the time, but that was Samson's brother, his younger brother, Richard. And as we left the house, I asked Jessie, our partner there in Horizon Zambia, what was the story behind this young man? And she began to tell me that Richard had been awaiting sponsorship for over 3 years, and he had lost hope, and he had stopped going to kids club, and he had become disconnected because of such a long wait. My heart really just sank at that moment, and I just felt that it was my duty to do something to bring someone else into the opportunity of sponsoring someone like Richard. So as I got home, I started advocating nonstop and telling anybody I could about Richard. And one of the places I shared his story was Facebook. And it happened so that my cousin, Amanda Craig, decided to do whatever it would take to care for him and sponsor him until he finished his schooling. And since that time, she has been sponsoring him, and they have grown closer and closer. And I'd like to share with you some words that she has written in regard to the relationship between her and I and Samson, and how God connected all of our lives. So in her words, my cousin says, "Had it not been for my cousin sharing the story about her sponsored child's sibling, I may never have begun sponsoring a child myself. I learned from Abby that her sponsored child had a sibling who had waited so long for a sponsor of his own that he had lost hope and motivation to attend and succeed in school. This personal connection and request from my cousin for someone to sponsor this young man was what made me immediately decide to say, I will sponsor him." I'm glad that Abby was a voice for Richard and reached out to her family and friends to share his story, and that together our family can care for these brothers, now young men. It's been the most rewarding experience. I hope that you will consider organic sponsorship for your children and their siblings. It's been a huge blessing in both my life and in the life of my cousin.